What is up, people? I'm Ellie Upton. This is at UP Fitness Live. It is Wednesday night. It is 8 PM. Hopefully you've all tuned in to come and see me answer questions about fitness, about health, about diet, about nutrition, about supplements, about our own products, our online training, our Live Up online training, our one-to-one training, our locations around the world. You name it, I'm here to answer it. We've already got a bunch of regulars in. Andrew Willett straight in, first name that I know. Hannah's already here. It's almost like some of you sit and wait for this, which makes me feel really awesome and humbled. So thank you for coming in. Anyone who is new to this, it is just a case of I am here for a resource, as a resource for the next hour, for you to ask me whatever you want to ask me within reason. Be nice, be kind, do all of these things that are generally decent as a human being, and I will give you as much information as I can to help you move forward and progress with your training, or help you push past any, any plateaus in training and things that you may not know, or things that you may be unsure of. There's an awful lot of people out there who are trying to mislead you, lie to you, market various products to you. My job right now is to try and make sure, whether it's our products you buy or someone else's, that you are buying the right ones. That is very, very important. As always, I have my sparkling water, which you all ask what kills cravings. I always show you this. I keep my sparkling water with me all of the time because it always kills my cravings. It's awesome. Put some fresh lemon juice in it, even better. Alternative craving killers while we're on the subject, Choco Treants. If you go to upfitness.com, or you hit the link in my bio, my personal bio, or even the link in our bio on this page right here, UP Fitness, that'll take you over to the website, search Choco Treants, or just type in Choco would be enough, and it'll take you to our immense greens powder, which is perfect for anyone with a sweet tooth. Right, I know Meg is watching this while she's doing work. She's probably just looked at the screen to see why she's being mentioned. Hey Meg, what's going on with those notes, hey? What's going on with those notes? Because I bet they're going to be asked for today. Hey Nick, how are you? Stop Elliot, missed your seminar in London, gutted. Don't worry, Lean with Luke, I'm sure there'll be another one. Sam, my little Sam from Marbella. Nick Brev, are we in a deficit when we start out on Live Up? On the whole, most people are, yes. You're hovering somewhere around 2,000 to 2,200 calories. The majority of people are in a deficit there, yes. If they are doing it correctly, which is by the by for a lot of people. Some people say they are doing it correctly, but when in reality, like, an interesting thing about compliance, while on that subject, compliance is one of those things that you have to be honest with yourself. You have to not bullshit yourself. The fact is, a lot of you out there, me as a trainer, so many of you are going to bullshit me. You're going to talk shit. You're going to try and make me think something that isn't necessarily the case. The issue is that so many of you bullshit yourselves. Compliance, actual compliance versus what you are perceiving as full compliance, they're usually worlds apart. To put it in perspective, the majority of you out there who are reporting, say, 90% compliance to a diet, you're probably somewhere closer to 60 or 70% compliance. Now that is not, oh, I'm not eating cheat meals, I've only had one cheat meal, or I've had this, or I've had that. It's screwing up your meal timings, it's not drinking enough water, it's not taking your supplements when you're supposed to take your supplements, it's not sleeping when you're supposed to sleep. All of these things massively contribute to your transformation. If they are out, if various variables are out, then that is going to affect your end result. Therefore, your compliance, you have to be honest with yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. And therefore, if you're not bullshitting yourself, you won't then bullshit your trainer, and your realistic expectations can be maintained, because otherwise your expectations will always be unrealistic. Michael, just dropped weights down to 3 per week and CV up to 3, used to be 4 to 2 respectively. What do you think CNS rest feels better? Sorry? Just dropped weights down to 3 per week and CV up to 3. Used to be 4 and 2 respectively. What do you think CNS? If you're training 3 times per week, you shouldn't have any issue with your CNS, really. Depending on how your training structure is and what kind of training, but on the whole, you'll be all right. Cheers, Meg. Ruler, what's up? Hello. Philly, yo, yo, yo. Do you need to take any supplements to help weight loss, or is gym and nutrition enough? You don't need to, but I would suggest it's going to be highly beneficial, and it will make your life an awful lot easier. When you are training, when you are eating, even if you're eating with the best of intentions, the chances are you are not taking in all of the nutrients that you need to take in. Then when you are training on top of general day-to-day life, your need for nutrients does go up, it increases. Therefore, supplementing with certain things can be very, very, very beneficial. Is it absolutely necessary? No, it is not. But is it going to speed up your result? Yes. Is it going to make you feel a lot better whilst you are getting your results? Yes. Is it going to improve your health? Yes. Is it going to kill you if you don't do it? Probably not yet, but taking them I highly would advise. we have a Live Up Essentials pack, which I've put on the website. We've got it loaded up there. If you go to upfitness.com and search in the search bar Live Up Essentials, and it will show you the male and the female pack. And what I advise are the kind of the bare minimums, the essentials that all of you should be taking every single day in order to maintain optimal health. Now, there are some additions to that, such as vitamin D, other things that can be really, really helpful, but those will be the ones that I suggest, you really have in your cupboard at all times if you want to get in shape. Alex DaCosta, hey, one of our lovely Live Up girls. Phil Monk, one of our Live Up boys, just started training in the morning before eating. Would taking BCA during workout also help? Also, is it okay to have a spoonful of fats pre-workout? Phil, yes, it is okay to have a spoonful of fats pre-workout, and during your workout, as advised on the plan, you should be taking Amplify. It's not can you take BCAs, it's you should be taking Amplify. Michael J, I worded that so shit, sorry, I'll ask again in the next feed. You can ask it on this one if you want, just word it so I can understand it slightly better. Tom Hooper, do you run training camps at UP Marbella? I don't run them personally, but we do have them out here, and I may run some in the future, so just keep your ears to the ground for that, but they will be announced on the UP Marbella page, they'll be announced on my personal page, and they will be announced, no doubt, on the London pages. Serrano, Colombia, Bogota, what's up? Greetings from where I am to where you are. There's a lot of people around the world. Give us a shout from where you're watching this from. Seems that, as I say, some people were kind of waiting for it to come on, which is awesome. It's very humbling. It makes me feel like an episode of EastEnders. Mr. Adam Kiani, what's up? Hello, how are you? What else have you got for me, folks? Come on, fire these questions away at me. What we're going to start doing very, very soon, keep an eye out on my profile and also the Live Up profile, is I'm going to start pushing a load of content towards you females out there. Now, chatting to a lovely girl that trains with us here in Marbella that I'm going to do some content with called Sana, and we are going to put together a load of content teaching you how to master female training. Obviously the Live Up plan already does it, but we want to try and deliver some more, because there's a lot of you out there who may be a bit tentative towards going on to something like Live Up because you don't feel like you know how to lift. So we're going to start with the basics and build them up from there. Very, very female specific, so keep an eye out for them. Hopefully it'll be quite an exciting few months for you. I'm 37, intermittent fast, 12 to 14 hours. I skip breakfast. If I train in the morning, am I causing too much stress and increasing cortisol, general hormonal havoc? In my opinion, yes, you are, Shah. I am not a fan of intermittent fasting for females at all. In my opinion, you should be eating small meals as regularly as possible in order to maintain a nice level of blood sugar, a nice level hormonal output, keeping your stress levels settled, and keeping everything where it's supposed to be. I do not recommend intermittent fasting for females. Even males, I'm not a huge fan of it. The only time in my opinion, it can really have a massive benefit is if you've got a shitload of muscle and potentially even enough to lose. Alex Taylor, can you help? With my Romanian deadlifts, I struggle with my grip. Do you have any tips on how I could strengthen this? I could lift heavier if I had a better grip. Yes, very, very simply, just get yourself some deadlifting straps or some lifting straps. Very, very easy. Go to Amazon.com and buy some lifting straps. Messing around with like split grip and versions like that is more likely to cause injury and postural imbalance than it is to actually benefit you. And unless you're training for raw powerlifting meets, there's absolutely no point. So what I would highly recommend you do, get some lifting straps and use them for your pulling movements. Kiz, what's up? Nick, meal timings on Live Up. Is it okay not to eat till lunch, as I'm not a fan of breakfast, so I end up eating 12:33? I'm not a fan of you doing that, but we have to be pragmatic about some of these things. So if you absolutely must, then do it. Let's see what happens. If you are not getting results, I will ask you to change it. Helen Fran, I'm going to a hen party in 3 weeks. I've lost a stone, but I can't shift the last half. Any suggestions food-wise? If you've lost a stone already, then what you were doing was correct and you need to stick at it. You know, rushing into stuff like that, I've got a hen party in 3 weeks, giving yourself X amount of time to lose X amount of body fat is a bit of a silly way to try and do it. You know, I have no doubt you've known about this hen party for quite a while. You should have given yourself more lead time. Don't go to any silly extremes. What I would advise is if you have been in a calorie deficit that has resulted in you losing a stone, you need to look at what you're eating now. How many calories are you taking in? Potentially take away 100 more and it should kickstart fat loss again. Unless you are super low already, you know, if you've been starving yourself essentially, if you're eating 1,000 calories a day for the last 3 months, then you're gonna need to take your food back up or you won't start to lose weight again. A deficit could be too vast. Tell me about how many times a week do you recommend cardio? Depends on needs. If you've got a load of fat to lose, you can do it more. I recommend you go out for a walk every single morning. However, if you're super, super lean, I recommend you only do what you enjoy doing. You know, weight training will probably be enough, especially if it's intense enough. Very much individually dependent. For the most part, people can get away with 1 to 2 times per week, sort of steady state style cardio, but I do advocate just generally being active and getting your what we call NEAT up, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that's going to just keep you active, you know, go out and get some steps done. I want to know is fat loss possible in Ramadan on Live Up and how to train? Kizzy, it is potentially, but with regards to stuff like Ramadan, I cannot go into that level of detail in Live Up. It's a £50 per month program. If you want something that is tailored to your needs over Ramadan, I highly recommend you go for one-to-one style online training. Live Up isn't quite going to cut it for that. You can, of course, keep all of your food based on the plan in the window that you are allowed to eat, but again, it's an imperfect situation, so I wouldn't want to make promises we can't keep. Theoretically, yes, you still should lose fat because you're taking in the same amount of food and the same amount of exercise, etc. But there are going to be some variables that, you know, exercise, the output, the amount of energy you can put into it, the amount of consistency you're likely to have with the windows, and the potential levels of malnourishment you may have. So it's one of those. It's kind of, yes, you potentially could, but would I want to make a promise? No, absolutely not. What do you recommend for those fasting 16 hours during Ramadan? I'm thinking of weight training in the last hour of fast, need to tone up and lose weight for summer. Similar to what I've just said, it's a very difficult one because each one of you is going to respond to it individually. If you go to upfitness.com and you type in Ramadan in the search bar, we've done loads and loads of articles on it and how we think it's best for you to train. Again, not necessarily Live Up specific, but certainly better ways for you to train and better ways for you to manage it while still maintaining or progressing through your result. upfitness.com, Ramadan in the search bar. Leslie Hughes, I'm 51, female, what would you advise? Exercise, menopause, etc. That's exactly what I'd advise. Exercise. If you get out and you exercise, make sure you're taking magnesium, and it's going to help settle things like hot flushes and any kind of fatigue. But exercise as regularly as you can, and make sure you're resting well enough. Thank you, a lot of them now. Lift heavy, get strong. Exactly. Helen Fran, so fit. I get up at, where has that gone? I get up at 5:15 a.m, then weight train at 6 a.m. What's best pre-food in that time frame? Depends what you can eat. I can eat the second I wake up. In fact, I want to eat the second I wake up, and I really struggle to train on an empty stomach. So whatever's good for you. You know, eggs is a really easy one. It digests very quickly, so you can get away with eggs and omelette, scrambled eggs or something like that. If not, alternatively, have your post-workout shake pre-workout. So the post-workout shake that you were going to have after you train, just have it before you train, and through the workout it's going to be absorbed anyway, so it will have a similar effect. I struggle to get 80 grams of protein a day. What protein shake do you recommend? If you struggle to get 80 grams of protein per day, that's like a shake and a meal. That's next to nothing. You must be damn near starving yourself. If a shake is an alternative, again, I would only really recommend shakes post-workout. If you will genuinely want results, if you want some form of progress, you need to be eating whole foods as opposed to supplements. However, post-workout, when you've been training, when you've been weight training heavy, in order to kickstart recovery and speed everything up, you can get something like our vegan whey or our whey protein, which is available on upfitness.com. If you just go up to upfitness.com, go to the store and search protein, and it will come up with the available options we have. And that's about as good as you can get. You know, it's what we use on our own clients to get the results that we get. So those are your options. But again, I would, to be honest, possibly question your commitment if you struggle to get more than 80 grams per day, because that's next to nothing. Charlotte, after that earlier question regarding breakfast, is getting up at 5:30 and getting a good number of my steps in fasted okay? Absolutely, yes it is. I'm a huge fan of it, so do it. Philly, hi Lee, thanks for the advice the other day. I am hoping to go back to the gym after an injury. What can I take, or how can I get my body used to going back to the gym? There's nothing you can take, you just go back to the gym. It's very simple. Go back to the gym, take it easy, and do what you need to do. With stuff like that, you know, so many of you think that it's not complicated. None of this is complicated. Oh, what do I need to do to get back to the gym? What do I need to do to get back to the gym? You just fucking get back to the gym. It is really simple. Nothing is going to change until you choose to get back to the gym. You don't need to prep yourself for it. Just go in, start training, start moving again. Do it intuitively, do it intelligently, but it really isn't as complicated as you think. Hey dude, heavy deadlifts, would you do over and under grip? Chris, never ever. I've put a few videos in the forum on this, and I know I've said it here loads of times. In my opinion, don't do over under grip. Do not split your grip. Always use straps. The fact of the matter is, if you're trying to deadlift, unless you are training for a raw competition, if you need to be powerlifting without straps, then fine, practice without straps. If you're training for body composition and overall strength, what is the point of letting your grip dictate how much your whole body lifts? To me, it's ridiculous. If you want to get a better training effect, use some damn straps and lift a heavier bar. Very, very simple. Hello from Ireland. Philly, Soshi, what's up? Lewis Digby, what's up? Shaq, what's up? Kizzy, is Amplify suitable for vegetarians? Kizzy, I've answered your question on this as well as posting the Ramadan question in the forum. Yes, it is. I answered that one earlier. Kayla Itsu, you mean Itseens, fitness influencer, does light weights, what works best, heavy or light weights for women? Heavy weights. Basically, I know exactly what you're talking about, Kayla. She looks like she needs a good meal, in my opinion. I'm freaking out. I'm saying that she's pregnant now, so just in case you ever get to watch this, Kayla, congratulations. I'm freaking out about your 2,000 calorie estimate. I've only ever dieted at 69. Well, stop freaking out then. The fact of the matter is, if you've joined the program, you've probably seen that it's worked for many, many hundreds of people. It's because they've let go of what they think they previously know. So I suggest you do the same, and you may have some element of a success with it. If, however, you do not let that go, there's a good chance you're going to fail at it. Those are your options. I suggest you pick one. What's the best tips for sore muscles? Learn to embrace them. It's part and parcel of training. It's not always going to happen, but sometimes it does. Embrace it. Secondly, keep moving. Thirdly, rest well and sleep well. Fourth, make sure you drink plenty of water. 5, make sure you are taking magnesium before bed, about 200 to 400 milligrams before bed, and potentially even bathe in Epsom salts, and that will really, really help as well. Tasha Grabowska, so I've ordered my first protein powder. I hardly get any protein in my diet. I'm training 1 day on, 2 off. Should I have shakes every day or just after workout? In my opinion, you have them just after training. You know, one of the common mistakes that people make when they are genuinely trying to get in shape is that they rely on supplements. You should not be relying on supplements. You should be eating proper food. The more proper food you eat, the better your body is going to operate. If you choose not to eat proper whole food proteins for whatever reason, you are going to have suboptimal results. It is as simple as that. Yes, protein shakes are very, very useful, and they are engineered to be absorbed rapidly and in a certain way in order to kickstart muscle protein synthesis after a training session. However, to replace meal protein with them is a really, really bad idea, and I suggest you don't do it. Anito, what's up? Philly, what's up? Kiz, welcome. Gould, yo. Rule, I read spin classes are bad for female fat loss. Why? Because they massively overtrain, massively over fatigue. And most of the time, females aren't eating anywhere near enough to be doing stuff like that. There is also, I know ages ago, there was also some weird study, I don't remember the exact details of it, so don't quote me on it, but it was there, that it can actually promote fat storage on the lower body for some reason. There was something about the way it interacts, those sorts of intensities interact with the female body, and it can actually promote fat storage on the bottom thighs. But don't hold me to that, I vaguely remember reading something about it many, many years ago. But it's fun, you know. The fact of the matter is, if you're doing a spin class, you're doing something like that, you're doing it because you've decided to get your ass off the sofa, which is a very, very good thing. These classes get people's ass off the sofa. I taught spin for a long, long time and I really enjoyed it. But it's going to massively diminish your performance. It's probably going to break down a shitload of muscle tissue, therefore potentially slowing your metabolism. Many, many things can go wrong. You know, with regards to the hormonal effects it has on most female, the levels of cortisol circulating around their body, and the issue that causes with pregnenolone and then menstruation and fertility. And yes, it can have a lot of negative effects despite you trying to do something positive. And so I don't necessarily recommend it. What's more effective if you want to grow, tone up and lose fat? Isolated muscle groups per workout or multiple? Ideally hitting the gym 3 to 4 days a week. Always, in my opinion, hitting full body workouts. If you've got 4 hours a week, you may as well hit your body 4 hours, full body 4 hours, than train isolated parts. Therefore, you're going to burn tons more calories at the time. Because of how you have to balance out the volume within those training sessions, you'll also find that the muscular frequency with which you hit each muscle is much, much better. If you go to my profile, Elliot Upton, and look at the video that I posted yesterday, it's about 6 minutes long, but it gives you exactly my reasons why I suggest you do that. So go to my profile, Elliot Upton, and then you will be able to go and check that out. Why is love handles and thighs the last to go? It's not necessarily, it's usually, it can be stubborn, but everyone has different last to go areas. With regards to love handles, etc., everything around the middle is survival fat. So it's going to hold on for most people, unless you're quite lucky, quite a long while. It's as simple as that. With regards to love handles specifically, it's usually an inability to control your blood sugar. So if you either eat too big a portions too irregularly, or you can't control your carbohydrates, all of these kind of things can have a draw on whether you are going to store fat around your middle or you are not. Worth checking. Just, if you're inconsistently eating, the spaces between your meals are inconsistent. If you can't control your carbohydrate intake, or your carbohydrate intake is inconsistent, so some days you're having a massive portion, other days you're having a small portion, and it's all fluctuating, this can have a massive draw on it. Otherwise, it's pretty much survival fat. With regards to the thighs, that can potentially be a sign of toxic estrogens. So you're going to store more there in the female pattern areas if your estrogenic toxicity is high. With that, you can use supplements like DIM or calcium D-glucarate, both of which we have separately on upfitness.com, or you can use our estro support supplement, which again you can find on upfitness.com, and that will help to clear out toxicity. Excuse me. It helps to kind of detoxify the body, aids detoxification, which could then potentially, not guaranteed, but potentially reduce the amount of fat that you are predetermined to store on your lower half. On the whole though, it's just consistency and training hard. For most people, fat loss on the whole is a bit simpler than that. Yes, there are certain hormonal considerations to make, but on the whole, when people are saying, I can't get rid of this, I can't get rid of that, it's just simply because they're not trying. Very, very simple. What will be new at UP 2019? You're about to see probably between 5 and 10 new gyms open this year between the UK, Europe and the United States especially. So our global expansion is absolutely firing away. Nick is putting in lots of hours, lots of work to expand the business further, and this is why we are having a massive drive for new personal trainers at the moment. So if you want to apply for UP, go over to the website upfitness.com, go to the careers section and apply, because we need people in basically every single location we have across the world right now. The expansion is happening very, very quickly. Obviously, Live Up is going from strength to strength to strength. We have people from all over the planet on it now. That's getting bigger and better and bigger and better. The results that are coming out of it are absolutely astonishing, and it's only 50 quid a month, so that's a huge thing. I expect that to go through the roof this year, so all good, all super beneficial. We also have partnerships with some seriously awesome institutions with regards to our supplements, various other things. Nick and Joe are going to be working closely with Cambridge University on supplements research and various other things. So super exciting. Some mad shit happening this year. Mad shit. Does the type of magnesium you take matter? I see loads of different types on sale. I wondered if there was one that was better for recovery. With regards to certain things, they're chelated to different amino acids in order to change the absorption rate and potentially the action. On the whole though, magnesium itself tends to do the same thing. Its chelate is going to be dependent on, for instance, magnesium L-threonate, which we sell, crosses the blood-brain barrier, whereas something like glycinate, I don't believe does. So magnesium L-threonate can be very, very good for those people with restless heads. If you think a lot or you get a bit uptight when you're sleeping, it can really help to slow that down. Whereas glycinate, for instance, is going to potentially be a little bit more effective for calming your muscles, calming your body down. So they all essentially do very, very similar things. You're not going to notice a massive difference between them. What do I think of body pump? Artistry by Dale, body pump, it gets people off the sofa. Is it going to get anyone a transformation? No. Is it an intelligent way of training? In my opinion, Elliot Upton, not that of UP. No, I don't believe it is. But it is getting people off their asses, off the sofa of an evening, out from in front of Netflix, and it's making them exercise. So is it a bad thing? Not necessarily. Is it the best thing? Is it optimal? Is it going to get anyone in shape? Is it necessarily healthy for people? I wouldn't have said so on all fronts. It's high, can be very, very high impact. It can stress the hormones massively. It can drive the levels of overtraining are enormous with it. So here we are. Do I prepare people for Mr. Olympia? No, I do not. I'm not, me personally. Within UP, we have people who are well into their bodybuilding. Obviously, Nick himself, that was where he cut his teeth. But me, I really don't like it. I don't like the industry of it. I don't like the morality behind it. I don't like the integrity of the people in it. So no, I stay well away from it. Charlie Houston, remember you recommended glutamine. Just bought some, but seen on the net, lots of different ways to take. When do you suggest, when amount? 5 grams post-workout in a post-workout shake, or 5 grams in the morning when you wake up. Very simple. And Canada, nothing yet. Rawka Fitness in Canada, nothing just yet. Please can we open in Beaconsfield? Probably not, but who knows. What is meant by calculating daily macros, and why do you do this as opposed to monitoring calories? They are one and the same thing. In order to know daily macros, you have to know calories and vice versa to a degree. So you would work out someone's calories, and you would work out someone's protein needs, and then with regards to the fats and the carbohydrates, we would work that out on a ratio dependent on what we thought the client needed. But they kind of tie into one another there. What do you think about MMA, and what is the best protein? Our protein is the best protein. Go to upfitness.com and check out the whey protein. That's spelled WHEA. Put it in the search bar. Or our vegan protein. They are the best proteins without a doubt. And MMA, I've never done it personally myself, but I'm a fan of watching it every now and then, depending on who's fighting. And it's a hell of a sport. The guys are athletes. You know, one of my only slight downsides of combat sports in general these days, not even these days, it's always been the same, is just bollocks that goes with it. You know, I'm lucky enough to know Anthony Joshua. He comes out here and trains with us in Marbella. I've spent a bit of time with him, and he's one of the most humble men you'll ever meet, considering who he is. But he also, one of the things I've got a lot of respect for him, he isn't over the top with all of his off the ring stuff in all of the bullshit at press conferences, and that's what kind of puts me off things like MMA. It's just a bit too much for me, but super popular, and they are unbelievable athletes, unbelievable athletes. D-Day feels, how much of the tap water related warnings are worth paying attention to? Should people be filtering or only consuming bottled water? Filtering for sure. You know, with regards to what's going on in the water, I would highly recommend you filter. I filter my water, or I drink bottled water, as I've said. So I believe there was a lot of tests done on UK alone. I can't answer for everywhere else, but the UK, I believe they tested tap water from various points in the UK, and there was something like 600 different carcinogens in tap water, trace levels of carcinogens in tap water. So filtering it does get rid of a good amount of them, so I would highly recommend you do it, considering buying a little filter and just putting it in there is not going to cost you much, but it could save your life. I don't know if you know Sir G. Constance, but is it possible to get his strength without steroids? No, it is not. I know exactly what you're talking about. His strength, yes, because I don't necessarily think he's that strong, but his size and shape, no. That is most definitely an assisted result. But, you know, this is one of the other things you have to remember with social media, is that some of the really big influencers, you shouldn't necessarily believe everything you see on social media with some of these influencers, because a lot of it is just a blatant lie, unfortunately. But choose your influencers wisely. It's part of the reason I'm here, is to try and help you see through some of this stuff and give you as accurate and honest answers as I can. But it's important to remember that everything that I say is my opinion, not that of UP as a whole. So just be aware of that. How much protein a day is recommended? For females, I would suggest between 1 and 1.5 grams per kilo. That should be about an adequate starting place. If everything goes well, you can rise up from there if you have no digestive issues. So, you know, let's say your average female is somewhere between 50 and 60 kilos. I would recommend somewhere around 90 odd kilos, 80 to 90 grams of protein as a starting point, with a view over time to pushing that up to about 100 to 120 maybe. It's rare that, in my opinion, females need more than that, but sometimes it does happen, and it does depend on the goal. Thanks a lot. You're welcome, Mo. Not a problem at all. Sarah seems to really want to be in my video. Unfortunately, I don't share my videos. I don't share. Joey doesn't share food. Joey doesn't share videos. Joey definitely doesn't share food again. It's just what Joey does. What have you got? Come on, folks. I'm not moving that quickly. I know the UP program is not bespoke. How do you know if you're getting accurate micro macros in order to build enough muscle? I assume you mean on the live up plan, because you'll be getting results. You know, if you're gaining strength, there's a good chance you're gaining muscle. If you're losing body fat, it's working, basically. With regards to even one-to-one, you're not going to know whether you are getting everything right. It's an experiment. You know, what we do is we establish a baseline, hopefully on the best instructions we get from you. This is, if you've given us a very, very accurate picture of what you are doing, and your check-ins, your accountability is transparent, and we know that you're being honest, then we can make the best guesses we possibly can in order to get you in shape as fast as possible. However, there is no way of knowing exactly that what we deliver the first time around is going to work perfectly. It's impossible. The human body is too different, and everybody else is too different. Dave Hills, thanks, loving the content, signing up to live up this evening, looking forward to it. Awesome, it'll be cool to have you as part of the team, Dave. Joanne, is there an email with seminar breakdown to be sent out? Sure, you heard say something along those lines. Yes, Joanne. Meg, I told you someone would say it today. Yes, unfortunately, with the notes that have been put together, our lovely girl, you all met her at the Manchester seminar, certainly. Meg has been absolutely overrun with work. She has been getting it done, and she's promised it to me tonight, which should hopefully mean we can get it sent out tomorrow, but let's see how we go. But yes, they will be coming. No question, just wanted to say huge thanks for all the positive encouragement. You're welcome, Sonia. I'm glad you've taken it on board and you're in the gym and you're confident, etc. What are your thoughts on Les Mills' classes, e.g. body pump? Madam, if you go rewatch this, because I've already been through it on this actual chat, rewatch this and check at about 25 minutes and you'll see my thoughts on body pump. I'm not a fan. How much is the contract per year with UP? Mo, what do you mean contract? I'm not sure what you mean there. Started box jumps for fun, really enjoyable, but yeah, quite humbling. Thoughts in general? I'm not a huge fan of box jumps. For me, the risk versus reward of box jumps is it's not that intelligent. You know, if you choose to do that kind of ballistic plyometric style training, which should realistically, if you're doing it properly, only be done for low reps, you know, 2-3 reps at a time. But if you forget that, you forget the actual technical side of training and you decide to do box jumps, I would rather you jump over something soft, so if you do fuck up or you are fatigued, you don't smash your shins away and smash your teeth to pieces. If I were to get someone to do that for some form of metabolic circuit, I would have them jumping over something that would give as opposed to jumping on something. So that's just me. Are weights alone enough to lose weight, or is cardio needed too? Weights are alone if you're doing it correctly and your diet is in check. Where do you get the UP recipes? The UP recipes, you can find loads of our recipes on upfitness.com and go and check them out. Loads and loads of stuff up there. Christine, what's your opinion on sparkling water or flavoured water instead of tap water? Christine, I am a massive advocate for sparkling water. In my opinion, I recommend you drink tons and tons and tons of it because it kills cravings, it gets your appetite well under control. With regards to flavoured water or flavoured sparkling water, flavour it yourself. Put some fruit in it. Don't buy the shit from the supermarkets that's been artificially sweetened. Either have it plain or put your own fruit in it. On the Live Up plan, what is the duration of the workouts and frequency? 3 times per week with regards to weight training, and the duration should be less than an hour unless you're fanning about. Lewis Digby, on the 3rd week of the plan now, and a couple of times I've had to put both meal 2 and meal 3 together. I take it this really is a no-no, I need to spread out. Yeah, you're not going to get many places with that. If you're shoveling in that amount of calories and that volume of food in one hit, it's, to me, suggests a little bit of poor time management, and it certainly isn't going to get you the results that you've come for. What's your thoughts on ibuprofen versus paracetamol for muscle growth? I've not thought about it. The only time I would ever take ibuprofen or paracetamol if I've got massive inflammation or a stonking headache, but even then I tend to try and avoid it quite well. With regards to muscle growth effects, I've not done any research or reading into it, so I can't answer that. Quite an odd one for you. Due to my medication, I bruise really easily. After 1 round of ab rollouts, my knees are black. Do you have an alternative? I can swap in and out, please. I'm on phase 2. I would suggest doing some form of plank. If you go onto the if you go onto the private forum that I've put a video of a SAW plank, SAW plank. Search it in the search bar in the Live Up forums, and that's a good alternative for you to try instead. And you're not going to be on your knees. Joining the gym full a year. Mo, we don't have gyms where you can just go in and train. We have personal training facilities. So if you were to train in one of our gyms, it would be because you were with a personal trainer. Now those prices range dependent on where you are in the world. But if you want to go to upfitness.com and you can send an inquiry to whichever one of your gyms is local, and they will be able to outline the personal training prices there. Shift workers, work a variety of shifts including nights. What do we do with eating patterns? Do you try to keep it similar in training, sleep patterns? Any tips? It's a really, really difficult one, Michael, but what I recommend everybody who is on shift work does is you need to think about your nutrition and your training weekly, not daily. Okay, so work out how many meals you need to have over a week. Let's say you're having 5 meals a day, so it's 35 meals a week. X amount of them have carbs, X amount don't, and blah, 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 blah. Work it out. Make sure by the end of the week, between 2 points, 7 days apart, you have had the right amount of food in, that you have done the training sessions that you need to do within that as evenly spread out as you can. It's about the best you can do. Think weekly, not daily. What to do when weight plateaus during a mini cut? Change your training up. Is what I would probably do. Change your training up ever so slightly. Remember, if you're cutting, you shouldn't, to be expecting, unless you're relatively new to a particular training protocol, if you're fairly, advanced in it and you're cutting, that would suggest to me that you've been training for a while. If you're using that kind of terminology, or you're just using all of the terminology and you don't actually have any idea, but let's say that you probably do know what you're talking about, and you can't get past plateau, you shouldn't necessarily be getting stronger. Yes, you want to maintain your strength while doing a mini cut, but you're not necessarily looking for massive performance gains. So you have to think about that a little bit. If, however, you have hit a massive plateau or you start to go back, you may be overtraining, so you may need a little bit more rest, or you just need to change your training stimulus slightly. Do you think there is such a thing as farmer's strength? Played a good deal of rugby league and union, and Pacific Islanders certainly seem to have it. 100%, yeah. I grew up in a field, and certain things I can do, I'm very functionally strong. You get me moving shit around, I'm extremely functionally strong for my size. I think a lot of that is just growing up in a field and shuffling bales and pushing this and pulling that, and yeah, I absolutely do believe there's something in that. Do you recommend foam rolling or stretching after workouts? Yes, I recommend both. I recommend foam rolling before workouts. I recommend dynamic stretching, which is stretching through movement before a workout. And then I recommend foam rolling and potentially some kind of loaded or static stretching post-workout. Preferably loaded if you can. That's, using the external force or some assistance, a friend to actually stretch you past the normal range. Can be really, really helpful. Loving live up, eating more, weightlifting less, getting shredded. What magic is this? Cheers, guys. Paul Gleason. Boom. That is how we like to do it. That, my friend, is my magic touch. That's what I do. It is the crowning jewel in my career. It's the best program I've ever written, Live Up, best program in nutrition I ever wrote. But that being said, it came from 9 years of programs. I sat down in a house over Christmas nearly 4 years ago, something like that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I sat down and wrote the program. I went to every program I'd ever written, looked at all the best ones and what was best about them, why they worked. I looked at all the shit ones and why they didn't work. And then I thought, right, I need to create a program which takes all of the best bits, but none of the bad bits, and how to overcome them. And I created that, created the meal plan, created the training programs, then launched it. And what you see today is Live Up. And it's damn good, and it just keeps knocking out transformations. Knocking them out, knocking them out, knocking them out, knocking them out, and I'm very, very proud of it. There are not many things I'm proud of, but that program, what it does, what it helps people with, I am very, very proud of. I may say that myself. I'm meant to be on 2,500 calories a day to grow. I'm 42 female, I'm 1 year into bodybuilding. If I don't hit my 2,500 calories every day, how will this affect me? You won't grow. Basically, there's a good chance you're not going to grow as much as you want. If you really want to grow, you're going to have to commit to it. You're going to have to eat enough food. It might not have been the answer you wanted to hear, but you need to be consistent. Consistency above all else, people. It kind of trumps everything. If you are consistent with what you do, if you are creating good habits and you are doing the right thing over and over and over and over again, continually, then you will get the results you seek. If, however, you are choosing not to, if you are being inconsistent, if you are missing meals, if you're having some days where you're shit, some days where you're cheating, you're having really, really late nights, you're not sleeping enough, you are not going to get the result that you want. If you want to do something extraordinary, if you want to do something that sets you apart from everybody else walking around on the street, then act like it. Very simple. Sorry if the question has already been asked. Ramadan starts in 2 weeks. Any tips on nutrition? It has been asked a few times. So if you go to upfitness.com, in the search bar, search Ramadan, and you'll come up with all of the articles and the resources that we've used before in order to help people stay or get in shape over Ramadan. That'll be the easiest way to do it. Keela, or Shireen as well. Head over to upfitness.com, search Ramadan, and all our resources are on there. That helps me and pushes me to be consistent. It really should. Ultimately, the same applies with everything, folks. If you are, whether you're trying to get a new job or you're trying to charm a new girlfriend or a new boyfriend or all of these things, doing anything, progressing in anything is about doing the right thing again and again and again and again. You can't expect to, eat well for a day and then get in shape. You can't expect to train hard once and then get in shape. You have to be continually repeating the same good habits over and over and over again if you want to be successful at anything at all. Now, of course, not everybody does that well. It takes practice, it takes effort, it can take hardship, but eventually, if you just plug away and you can get it, it becomes habitual. Once it's habitual, it does actually become easy, believe it or not. So bear that in mind. Thoughts on sauerkraut kimchi for gut health? I've never had to use it myself. However, I know a few people who do advocate it, so potentially useful. You know, with things like sauerkraut, certainly if you find people who have real issues with appetite, it can really, really help. I mean, not wanting to eat so much, sauerkraut supercharges your appetite. So worth adding in if you're struggling to get calories in. Difference between DHAs and omega-3. So DHA is its unique mechanism is that it shuts off the inflammatory pathway. Okay, so our bodies are supposed to inflame if something goes wrong. If I get punched in the face, bang, my eye's going to swell up. Okay, it's filling it with fluid to bring nutrients and to protect the area from further damage. Okay, that is inflammation. That's what's happened. The problem is in these days we're chronically inflamed because of shit food choices, you know, stresses, chemical stresses, blue light stresses, loads of stuff that goes on in our day-to-day which stresses us out and our bodies don't like, and we treat them like shit. We drink, we eat shit. We are constantly inflamed. So that one small acute mechanism that is designed to protect us actually ends up causing us damage. Now, DHA actually helps to shut off the mechanism that causes that swelling, which certainly initially is very, 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 very useful. So you take a higher dose of DHA and that's going to shut off the inflammatory mechanism which brings inflammation down. Now, then when you have done that, you take omega-3, which rebalances the omega-3, which is anti-inflammatory, versus omega-6, which is inflammatory. Okay, so you have more anti-inflammatory than you do inflammatory. Therefore, the omega-6, which is inflammatory, only acts when someone punches you in the face. It uses itself the way it's supposed to, because the omega-3 is keeping inflammation down everywhere else. I hope that makes sense. It's a really complicated subject, that one, but that's the easiest way for me to explain it. Cheers, buddy. So I shouldn't worry too much about strength gains during a mini cut. I've been adding strength in some lifts. Cheers, bruv. No, you're absolutely fine then. You know, realistically, so long as you're maintaining strength in some kind of cut, you should be okay. Why are BCAAs getting a bit of a bad rap at the moment? EAAs versus BCAAs. EAAs, because realistically, you know, lots of research has been done. It's not that they're getting a bad rap, it's just that they were misunderstood a little bit, because leucine specifically was the really, really important one. Leucine was the one that really, really stimulates muscle growth through protein synthesis, through the mTOR pathway, etc. So it's not that they're getting a bad rep, it's just that they've done a bit more research and they found out that leucine is the real kicker. Leucine is the one that nails it, and that's why we put so much leucine in our Amplify supplement, which has got high dose leucine, glutamine, glycine for improved absorption, and electrolytes to make sure you're constantly replenishing everything you lose. So if you're going to do it, then of the two, I would take EAAs, but get a load of Amplify in you. Alex, off for evening walk for steps. Thank you for your support. Live Up plan works. Positive mindset. No weight scales. Feel amazing. Boom. That is what I like to hear. And I love all of your posts on the forum, by the way, Alex. Absolutely awesome. Super positive, and I know it brings the other girls up. Kids, thanks. Can we take both or just take omega-3s as prescribed in Live Up? Omega-3s should do enough because it should rebalance you. DHA, you know, if you've got severe inflammation, you can take a higher dose DHA supplement for 3 or 4 weeks before you start on a standard omega-3 supplement, and it can help, you know, it can put you off to a better start. But by taking the right amount of omega-3s, I suggest for most people between 5 and 10 grams per day, that should be adequate for most people to bring their inflammation markers down and help you feel infinitely better across the board. Dash, what's up? No worries, kids. One problem with me drinking sparkling water while I do these lives is that for about a minute afterwards I'm just burping, you know, kind of burping under your breath, you know, that really awkward nostril burp where you sort of like, you know, like when people yawn as well. People yawning through their nose because they don't want to see, you know, they don't want them to see you yawn. They're like, it's like, shut up, just yawn. Enjoy it, embrace it. It's a nice feeling. Dash door, my day's going absolutely awesome. My days always go awesome. I live an amazing life. I'm very, very, very happy. How has your day gone? My Easter was fine also. I went to, I did exactly what I do every day. I stayed at home, I did loads and loads of work. I went to the gym, I did loads and loads of work. With one exception this weekend, is that I went to one of my best friend's club openings, Mirage. Absolutely awesome, so that was really, really fun. But I was still home before anybody else, got a good night's sleep, was up 8 training in the gym on Sunday. Weirdo. Does sparkling water hydrate you just as good as still water? In my opinion, yeah, it seems to. I don't have any issues with hydration, so I would say yes. Love the plan, but the leg DOMs are so debilitating. Any tips? Alex, it passes. Is the only thing I can say to that is it passes. Keep moving as much as you can. Massage if you can. Epsom salts bath if you can. And magnesium before bed, 200 to 400 milligrams. Should settle you out. And if it's really screwing you up, get some magnesium cream as well. Topical cream, and rub it on the affected areas. Kids, is it better to get supplements? Get UP supplements. What is your preference? As always concerned as they're suitable for vegetarians. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Check the ingredients list is what I would recommend, because the ingredients are listed on there. For instance, if you have something like gelatin, but do just check the ingredients. And yes, of course, my preference is for UP subs. Now, the reason it took UP the best part of a decade to develop supplements is because we were only willing to put our name to the things we want to use with our own clients. Okay, what you have to understand is that our whole business is based on getting results as fast as we possibly can. Therefore, we cannot afford to give shit to our clients. If we give something that's suboptimal, which may affect their speed of the results, we won't do it. That's why we took so long formulating the supplements that we do have. And yes, they now, in my honest opinion, are the best on the market. So, you know, don't try to save money on supplements, folks. A lot of you out there, you know, to save 2 or 3 quid or a £5 here or a £10 here, you buy shit supplements and then wonder why you're not getting your transformation. You know, it's a false economy. Trying to save money ends up actually costing you money, because instead of buying 1 tub of one thing, you have to buy 3 tubs of another and then wonder why it's not working. You're welcome, Alex. What are some of your advice for life? My advice for life is welcome fuck-ups. Fuck-ups, you're going to fuck up. You're going to fuck up as often as you, or more often than you could possibly imagine. But take a big deep breath, step back and assess it. Why did you fuck up and what can you do better next time? And then absolutely don't give up on it. Do not give up, you're going to get knocked off. Speaking of knocking off, always have a wank before you make an important decision. Nick Mitchell himself taught me that. Not how to wank, obviously, but he said, if there was a bit of advice I can give you, it's always make sure you come before you make a very important decision, because that is when a man's mind specifically is most clear. So that's my other bit of advice. And thirdly, have no fear. Do what you want. Do exactly what you want all of the time. If you have goals, chase them. Don't sit and wait on stuff. Don't be scared of stuff just because you don't know how to do it. Make sure that you're putting effort into learning as many new skills as you can, because honestly, how hard can it be? If someone else has done it, how hard can it be? Even if they haven't, how hard can it be? Any thoughts on using fat grips for training? Brooke Cubics recommends plenty of thick bar training, and the dumbbells and UP look thick as a swan's neck. They're thicker than a swan's neck. Yes, very useful indeed. Really good for general grip strength, and more than anything, rehabilitating shoulder injuries, things like that, because you're forced to grip harder. The shoulder musculature, the upper arms, everything engages considerably more. So yes, absolutely. If you can't afford big thick grip dumbbells, then absolutely by all means make sure you get yourself some fat grips. They're super cheap and can be very useful. Last question, I promise you can ask as many questions as you want. What causes muscle cramps? My quads have been cramping up, just putting my pants on. It's like some exercise type madness I don't get during training. Just a normal day. It could potentially be an electrolyte imbalance, so something like Amplify can really help. If not, you may need to take, you may have a potassium magnesium imbalance. So are you taking magnesium would be my first question, because sometimes it can just be a bit too much excitability in the muscle tissue, and magnesium can really help to reduce that and bring it down. So are you taking magnesium? More? Shut up, Meg. Man like Solly, on UP plan but have a few holidays lined up. Would it be best to start after, or can you do whilst you're away? You absolutely can do whilst you're away. We've got people who've been on the Live Up plan for 4 or 5 years, well no, 4 years since I wrote it, and they take it away with them. They can still do the eating pretty much, because it's about portions, it's about intelligence, it's about awareness and choosing to make the right decisions. And with regards to training, there is next to nowhere in the world where you can't train. Next to nowhere, whether that's body weight, whatever, almost nowhere you can't train. Maybe deepest, darkest Siberia in the winter when it's minus 78, you probably aren't going to find a gym, nor are you going to be able to go outside and do pull-ups on a tree. Everywhere else, you probably are going to be able to. Dave Hills, sure I saw a clip of you necking some apple cider vinegar recently. Thoughts on perceived benefits? For me, it massively improves my digestion. Massively improves my digestion. I can tell if I skip it in the morning that my gut is not working as well as I would like it to, and I just shot it first thing in the morning, bang a shot down. If I start to feel a bit funny, just wash it down with some water, but on the whole I just bang a shot down. Really easy, and I can genuinely, I feel it throughout the day. My bloating is considerably less. To the cramp question, taking ZMA before bed, should I have more magnesium during the day? Okay, the issue with ZMA supplements is zinc is an activator, magnesium shuts you back down. Okay, so taking them both together, in my opinion, is not that intelligent. You should be taking zinc first thing in the morning, a quantity of 30 milligrams for men, 15 or so milligrams for females. So zinc in the morning, because it picks the body up. Magnesium you should be taking at night in a quantity of between 200 and 400 milligrams per night, about 20 to 30 minutes before bed. There's a damn good chance that your ZMA supplement doesn't have anywhere near enough magnesium in it. So I recommend you buy them separately in future. You take your zinc in the morning, you take your magnesium in the evening, and that should help you out. Far rather watch Cooking with Elliot than the pretentious twits on mainstream cooking programs. Thank you, I'm a terrible cook, but it'll be something. The rains are going to finish here, so I have a few ideas. I have a few content ideas I'm going to try to play around with while I have a little bit of time, a little window of time. And kids, yes, sadly, I checked the omega-3s have gelatin. Any other suggestions? You could potentially try elsewhere. Have a look for vegan sourced omega-3s, but obviously the majority of it is going to come from fish. So any tips for pain in hands when lifting? I have mild arthritis, which has never really affected me much until I started lifting weights. Anything I can do, I should just suck it up and deal with it. Nancy, it depends. I would get your hands massaged and mobilized, because a lot of it could just actually be muscular tension pain through the muscles and the tendons rather than arthritis. I would potentially start supplementing with creatine, which can really help with any kind of degenerative bone diseases like arthritis or osteoporosis, things like that. So it's one of them, you know, it depends very much on how it is. It could just be muscular. You find a lot of people, when they start new training protocols, just gripping dumbbells and doing things slightly differently can even cause little bits of bruising. So sometimes it will go away. What I'd recommend is, you know, move your hands, stretch your hands out, massage your hands. If you have a partner, have them massage your hands. Bless, we've got a small receptionist at UP Marbella, who every now and then when I'm there, she will massage my hands because my hands are constantly in pain. So she will, just because of tension, nothing else, just tension, and that makes them feel infinitely better. So move them. On the Live Up plan, is it okay to mix flavoured electrolytes with the many litres of water we drink? Bolero, for example, or hidden sugars that are there to mess things up. Those things are almost always full of shit, so I highly recommend you stay away from them. Amplify, which is the intra-workout supplement that you're instructed to take on the Live Up plan, which again can be found at UB Fitness's Rampacked, full of electrolytes. All of that shit, you know, the kind of the little green tubes you buy from places which make water taste absolutely lovely. In my opinion, you probably shouldn't be doing it. If you want electrolytes, go to a pharmacy and get proper electrolytes. Don't go for these sweetened, sugar-filled, shitty little packets that you pick up from a Tesco shelf. Lots of thumbs up. What are vitamin B shots for? What and vitamin B shots before working out? Sorry, reword that. I've never done it. I wouldn't necessarily do it. I have every now and then vitamin B IV drops. I take vitamin B every single morning, B6 and B12 specifically for me. And with regards to taking them specifically before a workout, I don't see any reason why you would want to take them specifically before a workout as opposed to just in the morning, but each to their own. Best 3 exercises that hit the whole body for someone who doesn't have much time to work out. Squat, deadlift, pull up. If you want to just build a great physique all over, and you want to be strong, healthy and lean, squat, deadlift, pull up, squat, deadlift, pull up, squat, deadlift, pull up. Probably in that order, in fact. And that should be about all you really need. You know, if I could take 3 exercises to a desert island with me, that would be what I did. Squatting's a funny one for me because I go through periods I absolutely love it and I love going heavy, and then I go through periods where I can't stand it, whether I'm going heavy or light, but it's one of those things. Deadlifting, I never really go off unless I'm injured, like I've done, you know, over the last 4 years. I've had a ripped lat, ripped both my glutes, ripped my left hamstring twice, my brachioradialis on my right arm is gone, my wrist went on my left side, so it's only when I'm really injured that I don't like deadlifting, but the rest of the time I love it. Jilly Brens, what's the best food pre and post workout weights and cardio? There isn't necessarily a best food, you know, depending on what you can eat. If you're super lean, having some form of carbohydrates half an hour to an hour before your training can be beneficial. If you're not super lean, I would recommend having something more fat and protein based. If you have fat, to lose more fat and protein based. If you are super lean, have carb and potentially a little bit of protein based. But there are no specific foods per se. If you're spreading your meals out during the day, there's not necessarily a reason for you to need to eat immediately before your training session. I'm in phase 2. I feel like I hit to a weight loss plateau despite following training and nutrition plans. Any time tips to pass through this stage? Consistency. I've literally just about 10 minutes before I started this live feed got into the female forums and recorded a video about plateaus and the fact that sometimes you're going to hit it. Now, to put it in perspective, now I'm consistently, hopefully going to be consistently in one place after months and months and months and months and months of traveling. I'm going to be consistently in one place. So I was 102 kilos when I got back. And all I've done is keeping roughly the same foods. I've just controlled my food timing, okay? So I've just been eating on time, basically consistently on time. Now, I went from 102 kilos down to 96 kilos in about 8 to 10 days, really, really quick drop. Then I stopped, and I've stopped there and I've stayed there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, completely plateaued, just being consistent because obviously it's my job to know that this shit happens, and then kept it, and suddenly weight has dropped down another 2.5 kilos in the best part of 4 days. So it's just a case of you're not always going to progress in a linear manner. Sometimes you're going to go backwards, sometimes you're going to go sideways. You're going to hit plateaus dependent on your check-in information, what you send in for a check-in, your accountability to the trainer. They will make changes based on the feedback given. If you've hit a plateau and you have been reporting everything accurately to the trainer, then they will be able to see you through it. If you have not been reporting everything accurately, they will not be able to see you through it. It's a difficult one. Usually it results in the resulting check-in would end in a change in training or a change in diet, dependent on what the signs suggest is probably the best thing to do. Very, very simple. Very simple. God, my eyes are getting tired now. Started learning, so I've interesting story. So because I spend so much time now on my computer or looking at my phone doing stuff like this, I've burnt a nerve at the back of my eye, which is apparently is quite exclusive to blue light, the light that shines off of screens. So they give me these lovely fancy goggles, you see. I'll get my eyes right in there. It's like I'm wearing 2 pairs of glasses. But yeah, people now think I'm an intellect, so if I act a certain way and do certain things, people think I'm a lot smarter than I am. What do you think of my glasses, folks? Ooh yeah. Megan, what do you class as a plateau? A plateau essentially is going to be a point where you don't feel like you can move past. It could be a strength plateau, i.e. you are no longer progressing in your major indicator lifts, things like squats, deadlifts, pull-ups, bench presses, etc. Or it could be a plateau in perceived body shape, but this is the thing, perceived being the optimal word. Usually your body is continuing to change, but your perception of it does not, and that's what usually fucks people up, because they think that they have slowed down, so they throw in the diet and they get really uptight about it and blah, 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 and that's what actually ends up fucking them up. It's not the fact that they have just slowed down, Everyone expects their rate of fat loss to be the same as it was when they first started, and that's just impossible. It's never going to happen. Your rate of fat loss, the leaner you get, is going to slow down exponentially. It's going to slow down a lot, and you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be mentally strong enough to overcome that. Do you ever drink booze? If you do, how do you change your diet? I do drink booze very, very rarely, though, to be honest. I guess up until had some drinks with my friend Phil the other day at the opening of his club. But I hadn't drunk anything since New Year's Day. And before that, I hadn't drunk anything since probably the end of summer. So, maybe if I drink once every 3 or 4 months, that's usually about an average for me. And with that in mind, I tend not to change my diet around, I tend not to binge on food after or before, so nothing really changes for me, to be honest. I'm in Birmingham, was looking for one of your gyms, but there's nothing. Would you suggest to move forward with to get the results shown? Plus, I'm a vegetarian and don't eat eggs or fish. If you are not near one of our gyms currently, obviously you have Manchester, which is a relatively fast train ride from you, or London, which is the same, but it is a long way to go for a PT session. Go on to upfitness.com and look at our one-to-one online training. Live Up is not necessarily going to be the best option for you just yet, because it's very, very difficult to adjust the diet for best results to vegans or vegetarians. But our one-to-one trainers, we have some outstanding one-to-one online trainers who are brilliant with vegans and vegetarians, so get on over there and check that out. Love the glasses, welcome to the club. I know, right? It makes me, someone called me Professor Upton yesterday, and I really liked the ring to it. I like it quite a lot. What's the best piece of wisdom you garnered from the late great Charles Poliquin? What would that be? Honestly, I don't think I can pick one thing. You know, you have to understand that I've built my entire career. You know, it's a relatively successful one to date. I have a lot to learn, a lot to do, a lot to achieve. But my entire career has come off everything that Nick and Charles taught me. You know, I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with them both in person. So I don't think I can give you one piece of wisdom. I'll come back to you on that. I'll have a think about it. It's a good question. Thanks, Philly. Biggest lesson learned from failed client transformation. Clients lie to you. I'm learning that as we progress and keep increasing the weight, it's a challenge of muscle. How long does that continue for? Do you stick at lifting certain weights at some point? Yes, absolutely. You hit strength plateaus. You can't always progress forwards. Otherwise, you'd end up being able to deadlift 3,000 kilos in 5 years' time. Right, I've got 3 seconds out. Thank you for coming. This was me. This is you. Bye-bye. YouTube, that was our live feed over on @UP Fitness Live on Instagram. It happens at 8 p.m. every other Wednesday. That's 8 p.m. UK time every other Wednesday. So get on over there and join me live. If you cannot join me live, then by all means, ask questions in the comments box below. I've put all of the information to all of the services that we provide, our website, supplements, and the live up plans, and the one-to-one online training plans in the description box. So be sure to get down there and check them out. But until the next time, I've been Elliot Upton. That was @UP Fitness Live, and I will see you when I see you.